Hello, I'm Chester Connell, and this is a special segment of Agriculture Off the Grid. I'm here on the premises of Mr. Arnhim Eustace. That name may be familiar to you as the leader of the opposition and as the leader of the NDP. But today, I'm speaking to him as Arnhim Eustace, farmer. Mr. Eustace, do you consider yourself a farmer?
Yes, I've been farming for more than 10 years now.
All right. Well, you know, I have to tell you, I don't often see you smiling, but you have a big smile on your face when you talk about farming. So this is obviously something that you love. But you're also well, I know in North America they refer to hobby farmers. And would you say you're a hobby farmer with your flowers and so on?
No. The orchids is business.
All right, serious business. Okay. Well, let's start with what we have here. You have some really exotic plants here. What do we have across here?
This is almost, some people call this a weed, you know. And you notice it's both green and yellow. And I've had people come here and trying to pull out the yellow ones, think that the plant is dying. Because they don't recognize that's the actual plant.
So this is
yeah.
What?
Huh? I call it weed. I call it the weed.
But it's a beautiful plant.
Beautiful, very beautiful.
And then we have the desert rose, you said? Is this, what's this here? Oh, the African.
There's some Africa is we call a crown of thorns. You notice how thorny it is. Very dangerous if it gets onto your skin, you know.
And is the African what?
Huh? Crown of thorns.
Crown of thorns, okay.
I believe something like that might have gone onto Jesus' head.
I was just thinking the same thing. The crown of thorns. All right, so we have bougainvillea, we have, what are these, ginger lilies?
Yeah. Turkey toe.
Turkey toe.
I have about 5 or 6 varieties of turkey toe.
Is that right?
Different colors. You know the colors in this?
Yes.
As distinct from the color over here.
Right.
The same turkey toe. And they have different colors on the other side of the yard there.
All right, I didn't know there were more. There were several variants. So we're approaching now. What is this here? Is this a?
My garden tools and things for pots and fertilizer for orchids and so on in the shed here.
I see. And then we're moving towards what is the pièce de résistance of your farm up here, which is your greenhouse, quote unquote.
Yes, yeah.
And what do you have there?
Call the black house because it's not green.
Now tell us what is the purpose, because the greenhouse is a buzzword now as we talk about the BAM and so on, and a lot of greenhouses are going to be set up. I am not a farmer, but I'm learning a lot about it, and I'm not sure that I am convinced about greenhouses, but you have a greenhouse here and it's working for you.
Yeah, it's working, yeah.
So tell me, what is the purpose of this greenhouse? How does it work?
Well, basically it's set up here to where we deal with our orchids, right? Which I sell. This is a commercial venture. And when things are in full bloom, probably have about 400 or so orchids in here. I sell orchids locally here on the mainland, but the most of it goes to Mustique and other places in the Grenadines, to the hotel and some houses and so on.
Now, the greenhouse, the whole purpose of a greenhouse is to control your temperature and other conditions. Is that right?
Other conditions, yeah.
Okay, so what are you controlling with your greenhouse?
The extent of the sun's rays. You notice you have this black covering in it that controls the thing, and it also filters the water differently, because you don't want them to get the straight rain on the orchid.
Why not?
That's not good for them. You have to have the roots supposed to be dry all the time. They must not accumulate water at the base.
So basically, to control the rainwater and also the sun's rays.
Yes, yeah.
And it
also controls some insects, which may not get in there, and so birds and so on can get in there, and so.
So are you saying then, as a farmer, that greenhouses can work in St. Vincent?
Yes, they can work.
Okay. So I suppose what we need to consider then is what kind of greenhouses and what we're putting in them.
What I think we need to, what you can. They have technical people here could advise you as to the kind of crops that should go into a greenhouse. But for me, the most important lesson of this exercise is labor. You cannot grow orchids without specific measurements of your fertilizer input and so on, the regularity of that input. And the average worker on a farm, you can't put him in there right now, unless he's willing to abide by the specifics required for growing. You can't say, well, today I ain't doing that. Or you can't say, well, I am measuring the fertilizer trading amount. You can't do those things. You have to be pretty specific and regular and consistent with what you do.
So we have to take farming to a whole new level, where if we're going to make it a business and a very profitable business, there have to be certain schedules that we follow.
You have to make, myself and my wife, we do the fertilizing here. Nobody else.
It's very specific.
Very specific.
Okay, well let's can we go further to the and see the very special greenhouse. How long have you had this greenhouse?
Well, I would say 6 or 7 years now.
Okay, and it's been functioning for quite a while. You've got your gates here.
We take off here some very small.
Yes.
Or we sometimes, depending on orders, import from Hawaii, Thailand, Indonesia, and some other parts of the United States.
So you import what, seeds?
No, seedlings, and also if you have an urgent order, say somebody wants some orchids in 2 weeks and they want, say, like 50 orchids, you can bring them in at different stages of flowering. Okay? You can bring them where the buds are not yet open, and you know that in 3 or 4 weeks they'll be available if the person wanted them in 3 or 4 weeks, but they want them open and flowering. Or if you bring them in just to grow for yourself, then you can bring them in very small.
And of course, the ministry will give you your phytosanitary certificates.
Yeah, you have to do that.
All right, let's move towards the greenhouse and see these wonderful orchids. How many, do you have a variety of orchids?
Yeah. We have quite a few of them. We have vandas, and I can't remember some of the names, to tell the truth.
And how often do you supply to your clients, your customers?
It's specific times of the year. Like now, coming on to Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, those times
of celebration.
Most demand.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this is very impressive. We see flowers on either side. May I go in? And orchids galore. So, what is this? What do we have here?
This is a new one I just got this week here. You know, they come with the. See?
I see. So we have Z, R2, XLA. I suppose this is Latin. Looks like Latin to me, or all Greek to me.
You notice the variety of colors, you know?
Yes. All different plants, types, varieties. So if you're just joining us, we're here with Mr. Arnhim Eustace in his greenhouse. This is what he does when he's not in Parliament or conducting government business from the opposition side. He is tending to his orchids. So these are these ready for sale?
Yes, most of them. Most of these, some of these are already sold. And again, these we have a specific delivery date when you send them to the buyer.
Are they particularly fragile flowers and plants?
You have to look after them every day, boy.
Like almost like children.
Yeah.
How is this? In terms of a business that others may want to look at, is there room for expansion in this?
Yeah, I think the demand is there. And places like Grenada and so on have gone even further than us in areas like this, you know.
Further would mean what? Just doing it in a bigger way?
A bigger way, yeah.
As we're talking agriculture, what are your thoughts on the cocoa? You talked about Grenada. Because they do it in an added value way. What are your thoughts on that?
But that's an important aspect of the cocoa. We have entered into agreement for 50 years, with no review of the agreement for the first 20 years. That can't be real.
So basically, with the memorandum of understanding, we're stuck with it as it is.
Yeah. Unless some renegotiation is done. But to have no review for the first 20 years, come on.
The whole agricultural outlook for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, what is your take on it from a farmer's point of view? Does it need to be looked at in a whole different way?
Yeah, we have to revamp completely. First of all, let me say, we have to have a base. We have to have a crop, a plant that provides a basic income, and one which gives you a regular cash flow. When a farmer can know every 2 weeks he can get a little income, it's very important as a thing from planting another commodity where he gets paid maybe 6 months from now. People can't live like that here. You don't have that kind of base in our economy, provide that kind of living.
Should we be looking at around the world, maybe doing a global value-added research to show us what plants, what vegetables, what fruit are being bought around the world, and that we can switch to that?
You can do that by saying we have a ready market for a lot of our things already.
Like what?
We bought geese bananas in a joint venture with Fifes. Okay? So we own 9 acres of the port in Southampton, where we have our facilities for bringing in.
We presently do.
Yeah, our staff, a lot of Caribbean staff up there. You know, that is what you call Windfresh. It used to be Whip Deco. Okay? And that made £6 million profit last year. I don't think any farmer here got any of it. Right? And what they do, they sell our bananas to the supermarkets over the years. When we took over that, it allowed us to get all the licenses for bananas and we paid for them, which we never used to get before. Geese got all that. When what was Whip Deco paid out its first dividend for bananas, the islands got back all the money they put into Whip Deco from the first dividend. We had at that time 110 refrigerated trucks, which carried our bananas from our facilities at the port to our ripening rooms. The last ripening room they built when I was involved cost us £6 million. These things still exist, carrying a very low volume of bananas today, allowing us to, forcing us to bring in bananas from the Dominican Republic.
The critics to going back to the good old glory days of bananas, but the critics say that, oh, that was under protection, and we don't have protection now.
St. Lucia is selling in the market now, isn't it? They're not any more cost effective than we are, but they're selling. And operate in the exist today, and the agreement are in place. In that, it will not be as profitable as what it was for some years. Preferential arrangements, but that is the real world. That has happened years ago now.
I believe St. Lucia has stopped spraying, or Dominica. Should we stop spraying?
No, they haven't stopped spraying.
So I was told that one of them has stopped spraying, the aerial spraying.
They have the hand spraying.
Aerial spraying.
That is one thing, and it provides another set of jobs, you know. A farmer or a group of individuals can get together, buy mist blowers, hire staff, and do the spraying of farms. I have a mist blower for our farm out there.
What about looking at natural ways of crop protection and controlling vectors as opposed to weedicides or pesticides?
That's important, but you have to know about it and know how to do it. You can put the average farm just to do that. Some years are coming, fully into effect.
So from what you said earlier and from what you just said there, it seems that we need to put an emphasis on training agricultural workers.
The same supermarkets that now buy our bananas, buy all the other agricultural commodities from all over the world. We already have a relationship for over 50 years with them. They have said to us some of the commodities they can buy for us, and with the same arrangement we have with geese.
Who's saying this to you?
I went in delegations up to 10 years ago to the UK to meet with Tesco and so on. And the Prime Ministers went on that delegation. Eugenia Charles, James Mitchell, John Compton. And the supermarkets agreed they will buy other commodities from us. And we have all the infrastructure there which we own in our joint venture. The ripening rooms, the shell rooms, and the refrigerated equipment. So all I'm saying, apart from bananas, there are a lot of other commodities you can sell to the same supermarkets that we sell our bananas to today.
So we piggyback on bananas?
Yeah, bananas the base.
So my
I think to be fair to the fair trade people, they were doing that with coconuts the other day, you know, on the same sort of arrangements. Sure. And I'm saying there are other commodities that we can do like that.
Is that another area, coconut oil, that we should be stepping up on?
Well, coconut oil, if you can get it, because from health perspective, is very good.
So my final question, as farmer, as leader of the opposition, leader of the NDP, potential Prime Minister in the future, would you say that agriculture should be the main economic pillar going forward?
Yeah, that's what we have to do. We're not going to grow here now unless we do that.
Mr. Eustace, thank you very much for talking to us. In your greenhouse here on your property.
Yes.
Once again, the smile returns to his face as he talks about farming and his greenhouse. This is Chester Connell with Mr. Arnhim Eustace on Agriculture Off the Grid.